Welcome to another episode of Pilots Say What, where we get to hear what pilots have to say. My name is Zach, and I host this podcast from week to week here at Thrust Flight. We have this show on all streaming platforms, including YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music, which are our most popular platforms. Wherever you are listening, thank you for joining in today. And we have our special guest, Jeremiah, who is Jeremiah, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. He is a CFI here at Thrust Flight, and I'm excited to talk to him about his flight training journey, how he got into flight training in the first place, and what it was like beginning to become a CFI, and then maybe some of your aspirations as a pilot.
Oh, absolutely.
So without going too far into it, would you mind introducing yourself for us?
Yeah, so my name is Jeremiah Johnson. I was born in the East, raised in the West by
Okay.
parents who were from the North, got my degree in the Midwest to where now I reside in the South.
Okay.
Born into a family of either collegiate level coaches or pilots. So when I first left the old college, I started as a coach, did that for about 4 years, came over here to Texas to coach a little bit more,
Okay.
and then got enough money to finally get a discovery flight, took one in 2023, and alas, the rest was history. And as my dad said, welcome to the dark side, because he himself was a pilot.
Okay, gotcha. And so
Yeah.
you went to college, and you came out a coach,
Mhm.
and your parents, what did they do?
So Pops is the cool one.
Okay.
He flies the F-18 for the United States Navy.
Okay.
Retired now, so
Awesome.
that was super cool. I also have an uncle who flies for Delta and another uncle who just likes to fly for fun. So when it comes to
Okay.
the pilot side of things, life is cool.
Okay.
So
Okay. Gotcha. So
Yeah.
you have a family of pilots, right?
I do.
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
do.
So were you, when you were younger, is it
Mhm.
something that you always knew you wanted to do?
Actually, no, believe it or
Okay.
not. It was kind of weird. So I was always surrounded by planes and always surrounded by flying.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, on airlines, I had an uncomfortable fear of flying. Like, I don't know why it was that. Like, for instance, when we would take off, I had to look at the ground because if I ever looked up at the sky, I would get kind of that sinking feeling and I couldn't stand it. And it felt
Wow.
wrong. And so, like, when I first started, I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to fly. Like, looking at the cockpit, I'm like, that's so cool what they can do. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know how they know what they're looking at. And it's just chaos, but it looks so fun. But I don't know if I'll ever get over that fear of being up in the air like that.
Right.
So when I took the Discovery flight, I still had some of those fears.
Mhm.
But the more I've done it, man, it's all going away. And I could not be happier with finally pushing through that barrier. So that was something super exciting.
Well, it makes me want to ask, what was the real drive to want to fly in the first place then?
Just to check it out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, surrounded by pilots, I've always wanted to kind of like try it at some point. And I told my dad, I'm like, I'll give the private pilot a try, and if I really like it, then we'll send it. But if not, at least I have a private pilot's license, and I can say I did it.
Right. Okay.
But the second the wheels left the ground, I'm like, I'm changing careers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
So that was something magical. So
Well, so I want a more clear picture here. What we're gonna do is let's talk about in high school.
Yeah.
What was your plan after high school?
So the plan after high school was to get a coaching degree of some kind or a coaching career of some kind. I've
Okay.
always been super fascinated with how the human body works and how that whole operation kind of ties together.
Right.
I've always been interested on how to make people better at what they do or just achieve goals that they didn't think they could achieve.
Right.
And so I was like, I'll probably start there. And then along the way, I'll probably get the license on the side just to check things out. And if I fall in love with it, maybe I'll give that guy a shot.
Right.
But like I said, when I first went to college, I'm like, it's going to be coaching of some kind. I'm going to do some form of education, some form of helping people get their goals and help them get better.
Okay.
And so that was kind of my main goal. Still kind of staring at the pilot stuff, playing the pilot video games. I'm like, oh yeah, I can still technically fly. But
Yeah.
the main goal was to help people get better.
And so that's what you ended up doing. You ended up coaching. And so
Mhm.
can you talk to me a little bit about what kind of coaching you were doing?
Yep. So I was considered a strength and conditioning specialist.
Okay.
I had to get a special test done called a CSCS. This is done by a special organization, but it's the equivalent of a master's, if you will, for
Okay.
the strength and conditioning world. And so I would basically work with collegiate teams.
Right.
And so when I was back home in my home state of California, I was a collegiate coach for a junior college. And then when I came here, I joined a private gym where I taught all ages, but primarily focused on rotational athletes in the collegiate setting.
Okay.
So hence why I was either college coaches or pilots. So I started off on the collegiate coaching side of things where my other uncles are at.
Yeah.
And then as we know, I've turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
If you will.
Right.
Yes.
As someone who said, you know what, I'll give in. The aviation bug has bit me.
Yeah.
You said I'm gonna go all the way with this.
Oh,
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Did you sign up with Thrust from the beginning, or did you go somewhere else for your private?
So I started at a Part 61.
Okay.
Like I said, because I wanted to just get the license initially.
Mhm.
So I didn't really want to get too invested in it. So I was like, I'm going to start 61, see how I like it, got the bug, and got addicted to it.
Yeah.
So the plan of attack from there was to save up some money as I'm flying, or as I'm learning to fly and working, and go to a flight school.
Yeah.
And I ended up touring about 5 different flight schools before eventually landing on Thrust.
Yeah.
And it, for me, was a no-brainer. As someone who was a collegiate coach and really builds into that like team camaraderie and that team sort of aspect of it, Thrust was the only place that I could actually see that community. And I know I'm wearing a black shirt. I know it says Thrust on it. So there could be some rose tinted glasses there, but it kind of like, as soon as I walked in the hangar, I saw every table had a person there. And if there was a person there, someone said hi, someone sat with them, someone helped them out, someone was there. And I'm like, that's what I want to be a part of. And I thought that was something completely unique, because I toured 4 schools prior to that. And there was some where I walked in, I'm like, okay, I can see some interaction. There were some places like, oh, those planes are actually really cool. I mean, those are really in depth. Those are wild. Those are clean. Those are awesome. But no one's here.
Yeah.
There's no one around. And that was kind of uncomfortable, and I didn't much care for that. And then I walked into Thrust. I didn't even see the plane. They were like, hey, did you know we have June without? I'm like, yeah. You know we have air conditioning? Like, that's great. I'm just watching these interactions over here and how people are like not student to student, not instructor to instructor. It was student, instructor, stage check, DPEs, staff. Everybody was like, there was no like tier list. You can see like everybody respected each other on their levels, but like everybody was in like that group, that feeling of a team.
Right.
And I'm like, that's what I really like to be a part of. So I thought that was incredibly unique.
It always amazes me how much everyone picks up on that when they're just taking a tour. Because in my mind, I work here, so I expect a bias from myself. We want community to happen and things like that, but there's only so much you can do to actually make it happen. Everyone just shows up, they work hard together, and they know they're all here for the same goal, and I think that's what's happening. But for you guys to kind of come in on tours and say like, I can tell this is awesome. Yeah. That's great.
And it's kind of wild, because I'd like to know, we had a tour today, and I would really like to know what that person was thinking, because they walked in there and it was just crowded. And I mean, there was people all over the hangar. There was a full study. I was manning a full study session myself, so good luck to that person. I was manning a full study session myself, and it was like a group of like 5 people. There was another group of 3, another group of 4. There was a bunch of instructors talking with students over here. There was people touring around the plane, like dissecting the anatomy of it. And this person with their family just walks in with one of our recruiters, and I'm like, I wonder what's going through their mind right now. They're like, this must be crazy, because if I walked into that, I would have asked for the whatever we need to sign. I forgot what we signed.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. I just signed it. I would have asked for whatever I need to sign right there, because that's the type of stuff that I absolutely adored about this place.
Yeah, so. And well, thank you for highlighting that for us.
Absolutely.
I'd like to ask you guys, and you guys say it the best. So people do say that's one of the best things that they can experience when they come in.
Oh, yeah.
What I want to know is, you see that and you're saying, oh, you know what, I'm sold, I kind of want to come here. Did you finish your private before coming here, right?
I actually did not.
Okay.
That is a wild story. Kind of a long-ish one, so I can try to do the cliff notes. I started my training in November of 2023.
Wow.
With a Part 61 group. Got through my training in roughly 4 to 5-ish months. It was about March when my instructor was like, you should be ready to go. And I'm like, awesome. Okay. And so I was told, I asked them, like, hey, should I go get a DPE? And they're like, no, we'll provide one for you. I'm like, okay, awesome. So I kind of did the best thing a student can do, and sit on your hands and not look at a thing. Which, as we're about to find out, is 100% what you should not do.
Right.
And so I waited. 3 months go by. I get no phone. 3 months go by. I get no text. 3 months go by. I get no email.
What?
And we are now on probably around month number 8 since my last flight and my last ground. And I finally decide I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to go get my own DPE. I go get my DPE. And my book's indoor strong, so we can't start the check ride.
Oh my gosh, that actually sucks.
I know. We hit him up again. DP says my book is wrong a second time. And he's not just saying it arbitrarily, like he shows the proof, which I'm grateful for. But it's still not my favorite thing to see.
Yeah.
Try a third time, he's out of town. Try a fourth time with a different person, plane goes down. Try again with a different person. Long story short, it went on for a while. The best one that got canceled was because there was an airspeed discrepancy in the plane we were supposed to take.
Yeah.
They left the pitot cover on takeoff, so the airspeed read 0 when there was something covering the airspeed, the pitot tube, and I'm like, great, we're canceling my check ride because somebody didn't do a checklist right. But eventually we got a check ride.
That's great.
I know.
That's fun.
We love that.
Yeah.
We're here for that. But eventually I got a check ride with none other than Mr. Patrick Arnson. So yes. I thought that was really cool. And in my email, I told him, like, hey, I want to go to thrust. I just need to get this done. And he, without hesitation, was like, I will absolutely come in and help you out. And I'm like, sweet. This is great. I mean, within like a week turnaround, whereas I've been waiting.
Very serious about that. Patrick really wants to help people. He created a whole program called Finish Line for that.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, a month after I started.
Yeah, I think it might be the reason.
Yeah, no, it was a month after I started. I was like, but I'm glad you guys got it because it's helping out a lot of people. Yeah, and I can see it. It's super good.
Yeah.
It's actually super nice with Patrick talking about that. We had a tour come in and they had me do his tour around, and I was like, that was pretty cool. And he was in the same situation. I'm like, I can't get a DP, and I'm like, hey, give Patrick a call. About a week later, I get a text, hey, my check ride is in a day with Patrick, and I'm like, how about that?
Wow.
I love that he puts things aside to get that done. He really does show he cares, and I thought that was super awesome. Again, I know I'm in thrust, I know I'm in black, but I had this opinion before I went to thrust, which was just what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it was, so we went.
That was a whole journey.
That was a journey. But like I said, I went with Patrick and failed in the first 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, failed in the first 5 minutes. And he was really nice about it, saying like, hey, you have a good head on your shoulders. I know you know what you're doing. I just think you were led wrong. Come give us a check. Come check us out at thrust. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, no hard feelings. And I'm like, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So now we'll see how this goes. And then came over to thrust, got my stuff, and oh boy, am I happy I did it.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad that you're telling us that story, because there's a lot of people who, yours took quite a bit of time. Yeah. But there's a lot of people in situations where, for whatever reason, you had every reason, I felt like, but for whatever reason, maybe having a delayed check ride or training experience, and the goal is to never let that happen.
Right.
Here. Not saying that people don't have a hard time. Everyone has their own journey.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad we found a solution to yours.
Oh, no. Your perfect solution actually was perfect. So.
Well, then I'll shameless plug here, here at Thrust Flight. You did just talk really well about us. But that being said, we did create what we call the Finish Line program for people who may be having issues finishing up their private pilot license, especially if you're above a certain hour requirement and you're proficient, or maybe you're struggling to stay proficient. Give us a call and we can talk to you about what the Finish Line program is. Basically, you can transfer some of your hours and some of your work without having to start from scratch. This is only for people who are looking to have maybe a career in the airlines, because we are a career-focused program. And once you do the Finish Line program, you're entering our entire program. But if you're in that position, you want to keep flying, you want a career in, not just in the airlines, but in aviation in general, then give us a call. Maybe we can help you out. If we can't, well, then at least we'll give you some information to help you figure out what to do next. Thank you for sharing the story with us, though.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you did finally make that transfer over to thrust. One thing I want to know is, what was it like when you finally got here? What kind of experiences or realizations were you having in your first couple of weeks here at thrust?
One of the big things that I really, really enjoyed was the structure of things. Like, you are going to classes, you are going to fly. And I loved having that knowledge of, like, it's going to happen and it's at your pace. And I really enjoyed that. Now it is accelerated, so we don't want you to dilly-dally. But, like, if you wanted to go, we'll go.
Yeah.
And I thought that was something that was super fun and something that I kind of lacked in my previous sort of training, because I come to realize once I went through the ground school for thrust with the private, I realized I was way behind. Way behind. Like, there was things, like, thank goodness Patrick didn't ask it, but there was some things, if he asked it, I'm like, oh no, I would have had no idea. Like, we teach people like how thunderstorms form and the ingredients and all that stuff, and I was never taught that. So if that question came up, I was just going to give him the most blank stare I could give him.
Yeah.
So what I really liked is that organization, that structure, and the depth of which the knowledge was. And that's something I really, like, I don't want to say craved,
Right.
But like there was like some feelings sometimes where I'm like, I feel like I know everything, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Because you
Good
see
way to
how
put it.
you see how lackadaisical you can get sometimes. So there was always something deeper to learn at the school, and I thought that was just awesome.
Yeah, and
So
I think maybe that's what helps create some of that community is that we make
Mhm.
our school as much of a resource as we can.
Oh yeah,
I'm feeling really salesy today when I'm talking right now,
yeah.
but
I feel like I'm
you're
just
hitting the point so
I'm
well.
lobbing them up for you.
You're making it too easy. Look, I think that people come here because that's funny.
Yeah.
I think people come here to the school and hang out and do
Mm.
study sessions here because they know there's a lot of knowledge to get when you come here.
Oh yeah.
And when you talk about all the things that you could get out of our ground courses and realizing how you weren't taught those things, I think if you coming out of high school or college
Mm-hmm.
and you go into anything where you're supposed to be learning something,
Oh yeah.
you kind of expect them to teach it to you,
Right.
and it kind of sucks because you kind of expect to be fed the information,
Right.
and it's just not the way a lot of aviation works. Now we do attempt to do that our best here at Thrust.
To an extent,
Yeah. Now you're still gonna have to learn it on your own.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I want to ask you. Now that you're a CFI,
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be a lot of things to talk about in your flight journey and your training before
Oh,
the CFI. But now
yes.
that you're a CFI, uh, what is one thing that people really should know about applying themselves at flight training, especially a fast-paced program?
One of the big things that I would recommend for a lot of people is everybody is a resource, regardless of what level of training you were at.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times when I was going through my training at school, I would sit behind stage checks of just random stage checks, regardless of what I was doing. I was in private pilot sitting behind commercial stage checks and instrument stage checks and CFI stage checks, just to kind of hear the type of knowledge that they would get asked and some things that I would expect.
Right.
And then when I'm in commercial, I would do the same thing and listen to some like private stage checks just to make sure I still know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And sometimes the private questions that they get asked are really funny in the sense that like there'll be a student who's really solid and they'll pull out the most like out of left field question. I'm sitting there and like commercial about to take my check ride in 2 days and I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that before.
Wow.
Then they're asking a private guy, private stage 2 that question.
Yeah.
Now are they getting failed for that? No. But it's just
Right.
kind of funny to like hear they're like, all right, difference between a turbocharger and a supercharger and an engine. And then just a long pause and long silence. And I'm sitting in the back with my eyes wide open like, oh, I didn't know there was a difference. So, but now I do.
Yeah.
So one big advice I give a lot of people, especially as a CFI who's gone through a program like this, is sit in on as many things as you can, whether it's grounds, just arbitrary study sessions, or even stage checks. And if you can get your ear to the door on EOCs and check rides, they may not like that, nor I doubt if it's legal. But
Yeah.
just trying to get as much information and just hear what you can get tossed is really important and really vital, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, and I'm one of those people who I need to kind of soak things in
yeah.
through osmosis for me to
Ooh.
understand it. I need a little bit of an extra exposure to things.
What a word.
Yeah, what isn't it a crazy word?
That's a great word. That's a wild pull.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's making a comeback, that word.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
I like that
yeah.
one.
So it's like a sponge.
Yeah.
Well, a sponge isn't really osmosis, but you know what I'm getting. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It needs to
Yeah.
transcend.
Ooh. These
All
are
right.
some expensive words. We're leaving my budget right now.
But yes, I do. I'm that way, and I think that just exposing yourself as much as possible makes a lot of sense.
Oh, absolutely.
In your flight training,
Mhm.
you have to go through private, instrument, commercial. In that process, was there a moment for you? Well, we already know about your private and how it went. Maybe
Yeah.
after you got to thrust, is there a time when you're like, oh, I'm still kind of struggling with a particular maneuver or a
Oh.
particular stage check or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and then how you overcame that?
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
good old commercial. That is everybody's kryptonite and will remain everybody's kryptonite because of one maneuver known as the Power Off 180. I'm sure you've
Yes.
heard horror stories of this
We've
thing.
made some amazing videos over that on our YouTube, and people love it. But we only made that because people were struggling.
Yes, please watch. I mean, the video you guys posted, thank goodness, because there was a stage check, stage 2. I was trying to figure out like tips and tricks for the 180, and this video I watched, it was absolutely fantastic. It was this guy, and by fantastic, I'm being sarcastic. It was this guy, and he was like, "All right, guys, welcome to this video on how to do a power off 180. My name is so and so, and today we're gonna go up with the plane. I'm gonna show you how to do a power 180. Let's go." And then it cuts to him in the plane. You hear the engine run. He's like, all right, guys, so now we're going to hit the 180. So make sure you're abeam your touchdown point, pull the power to idle. And I like to throw in a flap. He throws in a flap. And in the back of my head, I'm like, this is going to be a really good video. For the next 5 minutes, it was just him breathing and looking out the window. It was, all right, I'm going to put the flap up. And he puts the flap down. And it's like, okay. Okay. And it was just that for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, my brother.
There's no substance.
My brother in flight, please tell me what you're doing because I am so lost.
Yeah.
So your guys' video was way more helpful than that. Thank you for putting that out.
Because our video was just basically a classroom demonstration
Yeah.
at most.
Yeah.
I say at most, but like.
But at least there's something going on there. With this one, I'm like watching a guy just like breathe and turn his head. I'm like, I have no idea what he's looking at. I don't know what airspeed's going on. And I'm like, this is helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a video. I tried to watch some videos before my stage 2 because I kept failing that power off 180 on stage 2. And that was a huge, huge struggle for me. And it wasn't because of like instruction. It was simply because I could not understand how to get through it and how to go about it.
Were you able to identify where you were getting hung up? Was there something specific about it?
Not so much a specific thing. It was just kind of a general concept and some more foundational knowledge that I wish I had put together. Now that I'm a CFI and I kind of understand some of the aerodynamics a little bit more in depth than I did in commercial, I think that's what really triggered it. Because a lot of things a lot of reasons people struggle is because they don't quite understand certain aerodynamic factors, like
concepts and the comprehension.
Yeah, so if you throw in a flap, you're going to slow down, and your descent's going to get steeper. And people don't quite, like myself, didn't quite understand that. So I would think like, oh, I need to throw the flap in now, and not really knowing why. And so what I ended up having to do is I had to take a step back, go into a ground session with one of my buddies, and we just talked about like the 180, how he does it, and some of the things he said. And I want to say the big light bulb moment is he said like, well, the flaps are for losing airspeed and losing altitude. It makes it steeper. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So if I'm fast, toss in a flap. If I'm high, toss in a flap. Like that's why you throw them in. You don't just arbitrarily toss a flap in.
Right.
And my instructor has been saying this now for, 40 hours.
Yeah.
And it's only until my buddy was like, have you tried this? I'm like, oh, that's an idea.
Kicked in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then I go over to my instructor. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that? And he just gives me the, I don't know. I didn't tell you that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm like, God grief. But then the next flight, we applied it. And lo and behold, we got through it.
Wow.
And so I was super grateful and appreciate you, by the way, my man. You know who you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm super grateful that we got through that. But I would say that was the biggest hurdle, was that 180. And it was just, I was brute forcing a lot of things, trying to like the definition of insanity, trying the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
Right.
Who would have thought if you do the same thing happens? Wild concept. So that
Yeah.
what I would say would be my biggest hurdle, and kind of stepping off and going to all of my resources, going back to the thing that everybody's a resource regardless. This guy was in stage 3 instrument.
Right.
And he's only done like a couple 180s.
Right.
But he remembered that from private, the flaps do that function. So like going back to him, even though he was at a lower level than me, great resource because he fixed it.
Exactly.
He saved me. And I thought I couldn't be more grateful for the conversation we had. So
yeah. That's awesome. It's kind of interesting how sometimes we can hear the same thing over and over again, and it just clicks one time when it comes from the right person in the right situation when you're talking about the right application. I'm very much that way. Sometimes I won't connect the dots. Yeah. I can connect a lot of dots, but sometimes I won't connect the right dots until it's time. Yeah. So it's good to know that you were able to do that. Oh yeah. In those situations though, let's say that someone else is going through a situation where they feel stuck on something. Right. Is that just your main piece of advice, to maybe talk to more people?
That would be the first place I would go, is like expand outside of the circle that you know. So if you're stuck with a friend or you're stuck with an instructor and they're telling you stuff and it's just not sticking, maybe go hear it from somebody else. Okay. Or maybe go like witness somebody else do it. Right. Like my next strategy, if that didn't work, was to start backseating some other people, just to see like what are they doing versus what I'm doing. Right. How are they getting it and why am I not getting it? Right. And so
and it's funny because you're doing that to learn from them, not to compare yourself.
Exactly.
And so one of my questions is in that situation that you were in,
Mhm.
struggling with the power off 180,
Mhm.
as many people do.
Oh yeah.
it-
Oh yeah.
a lot of times people feel like they should be able to get this already. Like, I should be able to get this. Why can't I get this? I want to move on. My buddy's moving on already. They're
Mhm.
moving on. Can I not do this? Am I just bad at this?
Mhm.
Those are likely to occur thoughts.
Easy
It
to
seems
occur.
like.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about handling that sort of pressure and that thought process of
Mhm.
thinking maybe I'm not good enough for this?
Yep. So having a background in strength and conditioning,
Okay.
I know that everybody starts and will be at a different spot regardless of what they do. Everybody's body's built different. Everybody works a different way. I tend to work better on long range type of stuff. Some of my buddies work better at short range type of stuff.
Okay.
So I kind of had that background knowledge of knowing that like I will never be the exact same as so and so.
Okay.
And I learned very early that comparison is the thief of joy,
Hmm.
and you cannot compare, especially in aviation. I see some videos of people who finish their training who have less hours than me, landing some pretty slick jobs, like in a right seat of a citation. Like that's super cool. And I absolutely love that for them. Am I jealous? Absolutely. But am I going to let that kind of get into my head? Absolutely not.
Right.
And so just kind of comparing yourself is really easy to do when you're watching other people succeed, but grounding yourself and understanding that you are going at your own pace, there's a reason you're going at this pace. It's never a wall. It will forever be a hurdle.
Yep.
Something you can get over, not something that'll stop you. So, yeah, that would be kind of what I would say is stay away from comparison the best you can. Ground yourself, know where you're at, know what you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the conversations we've been having on the podcast lately have been about preparation,
Ooh.
and I think that goes into the mindset too, knowing
Mhm.
that uh, it's just something to get through.
Mhm.
It's not. It doesn't have to stop you. That's up to you,
Oh
and
yeah.
that you can do it. And one thing I was thinking about when you were talking just now is um, you're still, if you look at you signed up to become a career pilot.
Oh yeah.
Most likely, if you're coming to Thrust Flight, most people aren't spending a bunch of money and getting all of these different certs just to
Make a hobby out of it.
right, just to
Yeah.
make a hobby out of it. So you're signing up to do this
Mhm.
in your life, or at least for a period of time.
Right.
And you're just now kind of getting started by the time you're even before you ever get to your CFI rating.
Oh yeah.
And so you should still look at yourself like someone who's new,
Oh yeah.
new enough to not feel bad about not being able to get something.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, to get your commercial rating at a 61, you need 250 hours. We're getting our commercial rating if we're on top of our stuff around like 120,
yeah,
like almost 100 hours shorter. Like if you're really on top of it, it's about 120, but like long end, you're still at 190. That's 60 hours short of the rest of the world
yeah,
doing their stuff. Like these other people who are able to hit power off 180s first try on their commercial check ride have had 250 hours to lock this in. I had 60 hours before going into thrust. I did my check ride at like 200 hours.
for
Like
commercial.
yeah, at 200 hours. So it's like again, I'm still 50 hours shorter than the rest of the field.
Yeah,
So it's not like you can't be so hard on yourself. Like once I got around the 300-hour range, that's when the 180 was like, "Oh, I know what to look for."
right.
And we're expecting you guys to do it in 50? Like
Yeah,
it's like don't be so hard on yourself. Like it's super easy to, but at the end of the day, you're not going to have as much time to refine those skills as the rest of the world.
right. It's
And
it's
so,
it's something to think of as like, I still have the way I look at
Mhm.
this, and I'm not a pilot. For once more, just to remind maybe you and our audience. By the way,
yeah,
I'm not a pilot, at least not at this point. Who knows what may happen in the future?
the futures, yeah.
I do. After having so many of these conversations, I can see the value and even the reason to look at the hours that you don't have as an opportunity to say, I still have a chance to figure this out.
Oh yeah,
Because it's going to take you 1,500 hours to even qualify for an ATP anyways.
yeah,
And
100%.
so there's really no rush to be a perfect pilot by the time
No,
you've gotten 300 hours under your belt.
no.
There's no reason for that. You should be like, man, I've got some time to figure this out,
Oh,
and I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. I'm going to learn as much as I can before I get to the airlines.
oh,
I
100%.
really should be like, I think seeing it as an opportunity really lights some people up when they talk to me. The people who seem to be the least stressed seem to be the ones who are the most humble and see everything as an opportunity.
Oh, 100%.
So that's just my observation. But
Yeah, and then the last thing on that is
Mhm.
when you do pass your check ride, at 180 hours. You passed it 70 hours before the rest of the people did. You're already ahead of the crew.
Exactly.
You're well ahead of the field right now. Don't panic.
Exactly.
Like, oh no, you got it at 220 hours at 30 hours before Joe Schmo down the street.
Yeah.
You're 30 hours ahead of Joe Schmo. So if you want to compare, don't. But if you want to compare, you're technically ahead of everybody else.
And that's just the minimums, right?
Yeah, well, that's the
250.
minimum.
The 250 is the minimum.
That's if you're killing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
at a 61 or somewhere that maybe doesn't have the accelerated approval by or 141 approval by the FAA.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so, technically, you're still ahead.
You're moving along. Okay,
you're still faster than everybody else.
So from the time you came to Thrust, was that what do I write down? November 2023 is when you started your Part 61 training, right? And that kind of had its own little hiccups.
Oh yeah.
When did you say you joined Thrust by?
I started in January of 2025.
Okay, gotcha. January of 2025.
Yes, sir.
About how long did it take for you to finish up your ratings here at Thrust?
Took me about 8 months to get it done.
Okay.
I was moving real well. Like I absorbed everything. I was up here every single day because I absolutely fell in love with flying and I wanted to know everything that I wanted to know about. Yeah. And so I was up here all the time. Like private, I got done at minimums, instrument at minimums, commercial, a little bit above, but that's how it is. And then CFI, double I, and multi all done at minimums, which was super, super nice. But I attribute a lot of that to what, like I told you earlier, I stayed and listened and watched and observed a lot. And I wanted to try to get it done. I don't want to say I wanted to rush through it because I really didn't.
But it's hard not to be eager.
Oh, I would say, yes, that's a great word to describe it. I was always eager to fly. Remember my instructors being like, hey, do you want to do like a 3-hour block instead of 2? And I'm like, absolutely.
Please.
Longer in the plane. Whatever I got to do, that's what I want to do. So
that's awesome.
Well,
you eventually, at the end of that journey, you go into the process of interviewing to become a CFI.
Oh, yeah.
And well, you're obviously a CFI now.
So far, so good.
Right? So what I really want to do is rewind a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if as long as you're comfortable talking about it.
Of course.
I want to ask you a little bit about the scary part of signing up, which is money.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to ask you, were you not maybe a bit, afraid of taking out a big loan or paying whatever money you might have had towards something like this? Because it's very expensive.
Oh, yeah. It is expensive. But you're paying for more than just the ratings. You're paying for the time. You're paying for the people. You're paying for the opportunities. It goes way more than just like the flight hours and who you're paying to get it done. So that kind of
and I'll play devil's advocate here. That sounds like a sales thing to me, almost, when you say something like that.
God, I'm not doing this intentionally.
But so what do you mean though? You're paying for, because a lot of people are like, well, I can get the same flight training elsewhere, right? But you're saying that there's more than just the flight training.
Will the plane be available all the time? Is the question I'll ask. Will you always have an instructor at the ready? Is the question I'll ask. Because at my 61, there was 2 planes, and you prayed to God that one didn't go down, because if it did, now you're out of a plane.
Right.
And you were grounded for like 2 weeks. Here at Thrust, we'll do a walk around, and maybe something doesn't look right on the plane. Maybe there's like a crack somewhere, the tire's well deflated, or the strut completely collapsed, and that was the plane you're supposed to go in. You'll call up dispatch, and they'll be like, okay, this plane. Like immediately into the next one. Like the only thing that was going to stop me from flying was the weather and my health. It wasn't going to be because an instructor wasn't available.
Okay.
It wasn't going to be because a plane wasn't available. And that was something that I felt more than comfortable paying extra for.
Okay.
It's just that security and that knowing that I am going to fly if weather and health permitting.
Right, exactly. So you're looking at the whole thing. You're saying, I want to do this, and you say, I can see the benefits I'm getting from spending quite a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. So can I ask you about, did you apply for the loan kind of thing?
Yeah.
Again, if there's something you don't want to talk about money wise, let me know.
Oh no, me and Sally are good friends.
Okay, good.
Me and Sally are good friends. So
Sally's a nice person.
Until she asks questions.
And she will ask questions.
Oh, yeah.
But you get to see that. You get to apply to Sally, and she'll say, hey, it's going to cost you this much later on per month. Because for me, that's the number that I'm like, oh, that's a scary number.
It is a scary number. But to me, this was something that I knew I wanted to do. And after my first flight, I called up my mom and I told her, like, hey, if the money's there, it's going to happen. Like, that's the only thing that's going to hold me up is the money. So if I can get it there, I will become a pilot and I will make this a career at some point. There's nothing that's going to stop me. So for me, having that like knowledge and that like calling and that addiction from the aviation bug, I was like, I will pay what needs to get paid. Could it have been cheaper elsewhere? Sure. Will it have taken longer elsewhere? Also sure.
Yeah.
And I was way too eager. Great word, by the way. I was way too eager to just let that opportunity pass. So I had no issues signing off on it.
Right. And if you're a numbers guy, and look, I'm not going to sit here and be able to break the numbers down, but there's some sort of, you can do the research, or maybe I can ask someone around. If you guys ask in the comments, I'll follow up.
Yeah.
But we've done the math a couple times just to see if it made sense on paper.
Mm-hmm.
If you enter the airlines, depending on when you enter the airlines, it can be like a few years difference.
Yeah.
It means millions of dollars difference over your career lifespan in terms of salary earnings. That's if someone wants to sit here and crunch the numbers based on their return on investment.
Right.
So speed doesn't matter everything to everyone. Maybe if you're eager, or maybe if you're crunching the numbers, you can justify it still.
Right.
But yes, you said nothing is going to stop you anyways.
Oh yeah.
So it's you don't. The only value that means is there's no risk for you because you're gonna get there anyways.
I was gonna find a way,
right,
at some point, whether that was working hold on, I'm having a stroke. Whether that was working a couple of jobs to pay off for flights every now and then, or sign the loan with Sally. That's what was gonna happen, because I know once it happens, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it happen.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm gonna ask you this one more hard question about this.
Let's bring it on. These aren't hard so far. So far, so good.
Okay, good.
So far, so good.
If I'm listening to this podcast, or I'm watching us on YouTube right now, and I'm thinking, man, I just can't get over that big price tag, and because how am I going to pay that back? Even if I get to the airlines, how do I know I'm going to get there in an amount of time to be able to pay it? And can I ask you about how do you plan on paying your loan back?
Well, for starters, we're going to hope this whole CFI thing works out and just continue to build the hours there.
Yeah.
What's nice about the CFI gig,
and you can be as honest as you want to, by the way, just whatever that might.
Oh yeah, no, you're getting unbridled honesty right now.
Okay, good.
Whether you wanted it or not. Yeah, for me, I was like, this was something I was super passionate about, that I was gonna find a way to make work. Whether I was gonna be a CFI at Thrust or a CFI elsewhere, I was going to find a way to get it done.
Okay.
And when it comes to paying, the thing with a CFI is it's flexible-ish hours, flexible enough. Yeah. But there's other part-time gigs out there that I could have picked up to pay for it. Okay. Like I used to be a golf caddy up at PGA Frisco. Yeah. So I would do that on the side while I was trying to make some money to go do this stuff. Right. So worst case, if I do get a little bit behind the curve, I could just go work up there, change my shift to a nighttime shift, and bingo, bango, bongo, we're now making enough money to pay it off. I got you. There are options. I made a bunch of backup plans for backup plans for backup plans in case this didn't work. Okay. I kept all my certs up for my certifications up to date for strength and conditioning in case I need to drop back to that. Okay. I have a buddy who started his own online coaching business, so in case things really hit the fan, I could go to him. Mm-hmm. I made a ton of backup plans to make this dream happen. Okay, awesome. And what I love about your answer is that you didn't even just completely default to becoming an airline pilot, because there is a little bit of a gap there. Oh yeah. Between being on the hook for paying some stuff after flight training and starting your airline career, which to me is the scary. Well, I say to me, I'm someone who hasn't even started the process, right? Fair. But looking at it on paper and looking at the timeline, I'm like, oh, that's a scary period. That's a long gap. Yeah, there's a gap there. I have to hold it, because once you get to the airlines, you assume that you can afford paying for your loans, if not even early. A lot of people pay them off early. Oh yeah. Yeah, so what I like about your answer is that you talked about how you could pay for it even without getting to the airlines. Now, what do you imagine it'll be like when you get to the... actually, before that, let's rewind. Oh, yeah. Is your goal to get to the airlines? I would very much like to. My goal is to just get paid to fly and golf every weekend. That's as long as I could do that, we're all right. As long as we can do that, we'll be all right. So that's airlines preferred, because it's the most stable. I'm going to put stable in quotes there because we all know how stable flying is. Yeah. Airlines preferred, private, charter, if able. But if I have to CFI it for a while, I will have no issues doing that. Awesome. I absolutely love what I do. Yeah, that's great. That's good to know then. Oh, yeah. Well, let's just say you move on to another step in your career. Yes. And maybe you end up somewhere that's making you a bit more money. Maybe you're flying a jet at least. Who gave me that privilege? What does that look like in terms of being able to afford this loan? Oh, this is very hypothetical, and maybe that's not where your brain is, but yeah. So being where I'm at right now with the old CFI salary, I've done a very good job managing the money side of things. Okay. So, and honestly, life's going really well. I really like where I'm at in terms of that's great to how hear. Things are going. It's great to hear. Even though we live in a little bit a little bit paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, but I signed up for that, and
Yeah.
I knew that was in the bylaws.
And most of the country is.
Oh yeah, and
So,
I knew that was in the bylaws, and I was totally expected. So if I do get the luxury and the honor of flying something that pays a little bit more, I honestly might take some of that extra money and just start shoveling it over to Sally just to knock that loan out quicker. And I'll keep kind of this lifestyle that I got right now,
yes.
just to get that loan taken care of. And then once that's all sitting debt free, now the adventure begins.
Wow.
So
Okay, gotcha.
that is the plan. So,
See, every time I don't know about every time I've talked to people. Many times I've talked to people who look at the money situation a lot different. Some people it stresses out a little bit more,
Mhm.
and everyone's different. Everyone's got a different situation.
oh yeah,
And a lot of times with the admissions team, right?
Mhm.
People will get hung up, obviously, at the money.
understandably.
The last question about this is, what would you say to someone who is a little worried about it, and maybe you don't know their situation, but
Yeah.
like assuming that they can get a loan
Mm-hmm.
to become an airline pilot, and then they also say they do want to become an airline pilot,
Yeah.
but they're hesitating.
Yeah. Again, I was very gung ho about becoming a pilot. So if you're really about it, I tend to, if I was really about it, I did not matter the price tag. I will find a way to get it done. So
Right.
if you are fully invested in it and it's something you really want to send, to me it kind of was a no-brainer in my opinion, because should we land that job, that loan's going to be a second thought. It will be an afterthought.
Yeah.
Talking to my uncle who flies for Delta, he was like, once that job lands, you forget you have to pay a loan, and it comes naturally. Now,
Man.
but that 2-year, 3-year period where you're building your hours, if you can get through that, you can get through that.
That's how I see it. It's like
Yeah.
you're like a cowboy. You
Yeah.
kind of have to get.
If you can get
Yeah.
through that, get some good resources, get some good people, talk to people in the aviation industry.
Okay.
One thing I did not do that I wish I did is work with AOPA.
Okay.
They hand out scholarships and grants all the time. And if you're getting stuck like a month or something, if there's something that gets you kind of, I don't want to say like hung up, but like if money's starting to get tight, and you can apply for some like grants and scholarships from AOPA. Now they're not massive. They're
Right.
like $1,000 to like $5,000 things, but at the end of the month, that's real helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
And we shared some information recently because we've had Jamel
Mhm.
on our podcast a couple of times.
Yeah.
This gentleman is basically, I don't want to give him the wrong title, but he's one of the main people involved with what's called Aviation Start.
Okay.
Aviation Start is now live. It's aviationstart.org.
Okay.
Is that right? .org, yes. If you look that up and you go to that website, you put in your name and what your goal is in aviation and what you want to learn, and you kind of you give some basic information about yourself, nothing too extensive.
Yeah.
And they're gonna quickly email you a list that has been generated for you specifically of scholarships that you can apply for.
Where was this?
I know, right?
Where was this?
This is actually really new. It's happened in about the last year. He's actually partnered with the FAA. Jamel is. We have him on the podcast twice, and recently we made a little clip, and then we put it on socials. People liked it and had a lot of questions, so we put a little bit of money so more people can see it.
Yeah.
And our admissions teams is getting they're getting a lot of calls about scholarships.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I haven't been able to fix in the messaging, right, is
Uh-huh.
that some people seem to have this maybe a misunderstanding about scholarships,
Okay.
and they're thinking, okay, you guys are going to give them to me, or it'll cover my whole program, and neither of those things are true.
No.
Right.
Yeah, no.
But does that mean they're not useful? And what you were just saying is that $5,000, $1,000, whatever is useful. But what you didn't have is a huge list of them ranging from $1,000 to $15,000.
They go up to 15 now?
I saw a couple at $15,000. Now,
Oh.
I haven't done my own. I did it. I filled it out with my name, and it emailed me.
Yeah.
Now, I saw like 2 or 3 of them that had an option for $15,000. Now, I don't know what they were, but it had my information, so it must have
Ooh.
applied to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
That would have been
You
nice.
still have to apply to these
Yeah.
things, and I want to ask you a little bit about what should someone expect when they're thinking about scholarships in terms of aviation? Like how can it help you? How does it help you?
Yeah, so for that type of
It's not
thing.
going to pay for your whole program.
No. From what I've gathered, because I wish I did it, I don't know too much about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. I'd love to give you a real good answer on what happens, but I'm unfortunately not the guy to give you that sort of answer.
Right. But in hindsight, you're saying you wish you kind of played into that a little bit more.
Yeah,
and what would you imagine having had it help you with?
Definitely paying, like, paying for loans for first off, and like just taking care of like day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
Like especially once I kind of got closer to the end of the program, we started dipping into the savings a little bit, getting a little bit close. Just that extra bump on like $2,000 to $3,000 would have saved me a massive headache.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's kind of how I would have utilized it, just to kind of keep me afloat, sort of in terms of like bills and finances side of things.
Okay.
And then once we finished up here, job secure, money starts coming in, maybe if the grants are still applicable,
right,
utilize those to like, all right, that takes care of rent for that month, and that lets me build up a little bit of a cushion.
Yes.
And now stress is gone. Now that the stress, well, I won't say gone.
You're right. But once you've got about at least $1,000 with a cushion is like a mental load off your off. So,
and it's incredible. And as a CFI who needs to be ahead of the student at all hours, that would be incredible.
Exactly.
Now,
so
is that happening now? No, I'm on top of it. Don't worry. But because life is great, I get paid to fly, and that's like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's what you were saying. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just had to ask that question and make those points because it's definitely something that's out there. It's definitely an option, and I want people to understand that. So
yes. And please check it out.
Yeah. Hey, and I don't know. You should go check it out still.
I think I should.
Yeah, just in case, because it asks you where you are in your flight journey.
Ooh.
So who knows? Okay, so we just talked about the money. The reason I wanted to bring that up before this next part is because some of the main concerns is gonna be being able to pay for flight training and then getting through flight training, which we've talked about. And then this part, landing a job as a CFI, because you finish your flight training and you are not yet qualified to even really land a job with a major airline.
Oh yeah.
Because you need your ATP to be able to transport passengers.
Oh yeah.
And so there's this gap where you can work for a living as a pilot, but you still can't get to maybe the one that might be your goal. We talked about that.
Right.
You got a job as a CFI.
I did.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like? Did you kind of prepare yourself mentally as a student to get a job as a CFI?
Actively prepare for it. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because of that coaching background.
Okay.
So just the ability to like teach and train, as I've been doing it for about 4 to 5 years, that kind of mentality just transferred instantly on over.
Okay.
And so it kind of felt second nature to get back into playing as a CFI.
Okay.
Like everyone, when I talk to them, like, I'm so nervous to go by myself with a student. This is someone else's kid who I'm having to keep alive through all of this. And it's a super dangerous profession if it gets out of hand. Like, it's chaotic.
Right.
And so all those kind of thoughts, weirdly enough, never came for me. And I thought that was really odd, but also kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because of that background, as soon as the engine turned on, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I know what we're going to do. I know how to fix things if things hit the fan, and I know what it's going to look like because I've done it.
Right.
And so having that sort of baseline background made that transition very smooth for me.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And I asked that question because you did land a job as a CFI. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like
looking for it?
Yeah, looking for it. Were you a little afraid that maybe you had to go somewhere else to be a CFI?
Oh, yeah.
And maybe what are some of the things that you saw were helpful to you when getting a job as a CFI?
Yep. So was I worried about not getting a job here at Thrust? Absolutely. So with that in mind, I kind of built a network and a system in the background to sort of, I don't want to say bail me out, because Thrust was position A1.
Yeah.
Planes are always available. It's really easy to fly out of here. The planes are awesome. Staff is awesome.
Lots of flight time.
Yep. I did forget about that part. Just kidding. No, I knew about that part. No, the flight time, it's a super nice bonus, and I get paid to fly. But I did build up sort of a network in the background. I met somebody when I was caddying up at Fields Ranch. He's a pilot, captain of the 7-8.
Awesome.
And I got his number, talked with him a lot. He gave me some other people to go talk to in case like things didn't work out at Thrust. I even got another, while I was waiting to see if I got the job at Thrust when I was back up there, I got another guy's phone number who was the captain for a global for the waste management company.
Wow.
And he actually just transitioned over to American Airlines, so congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats.
But he was also like, I got some places, I got some people, I got some sources, I got some connections for you. Yeah. And so I kind of built up that network in the background just in case Thrust didn't work out. So right. I said to myself, if I don't hear by this date, I'm going to start walking into places. And I say that specifically because everybody sends the mass emails out, and it's super easy to just look at it and put it away. But it's super hard to look someone in the eyes and be like,
And dismiss.
no.
Yeah.
It's super hard to do that, to the point where I actually sent some of my contacts to some of the CFIs who didn't get hired at Thrust, who now have gotten hired elsewhere, because they physically walked in, asked to see the operation, said hello, and these people were super excited to show off what they got, because let's face it, if someone comes and be like, hey, can I see what you got? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pilots, you're like, I want to show.
Yeah, you want to see what planes we're working with?
Yeah.
So just kind of that, like, getting them excited, getting a face to a name. These people that I like recommended, they would not like give them the resume until they asked for it, and that like got them an interview like immediately. So like my plan, like I said, outside of it was like, I'm gonna get these contacts and I'm gonna physically walk to their location,
right,
and talk to them face to face,
right.
And so that would be kind of what the backup plan was.
And some of the most practical advice I've heard about getting a position as a CFI. So I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah,
because it's just very practical to me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I wanted to ask that question again because it's one of the most major concerns.
Yes.
I think a few episodes ago I was like, oh, there's three. There's three concerns, but really the fourth one is getting a job as an airline pilot. But if you do the rest, the rest will work out, is how I see it.
And if you have that drive and it's something you really want to be a part of, you will find a way.
Okay, so one thing I want to say here is that you said you came in and you saw the way our students interacted with our staff, and our staff interacting with our students, and how everyone centered around the hangar and around the classrooms and the planes, all that good kind of stuff. We have tours all the time, but we do have a special opportunity to take a tour on this upcoming Monday. Once this episode releases, it should be April 17th, around the time when this episode releases. That means the following Monday after the release date of this episode will be what we call Thrust Day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the Thrust Day anniversary specifically. So every month we have Thrust Day where we welcome new students and celebrate current students for passing certain check rides. But this Thrust Day is a little special. We ground the planes. We make sure that everyone shows up in the hangar. We have even more food than normal. Friends and family of pilots and of students are welcome. And we have tours, group tours, that get to see the way we do things. We're going to have games, a dunk tank. The dunk tank is a hit because people have their favorite CFIs up there, and we try to get them dunked.
No.
We're going to get you up there.
No.
That being said, April 20th, we are having Thrust Day anniversary. You can RSVP for a tour on our Thrust Day anniversary, so that way you can see the way our students interact, our staff interacts. You can see the games, you can see the music, you can see the celebration, and see how we like to do it here at Thrust. Think pep rally a little bit. But I'm saying this to our guests, our audience right now, because I just want you guys to know that if you're curious about what it's like here at Thrust Flight, then this is a great opportunity to come check it out. You're not signing up for anything other than just to come see what we do, and then you can think about it after that.
Also, worst case, if it's not something you're interested in, you'll meet a lot of people with a lot of resources and a lot of networking and a lot of backgrounds.
Exactly.
So if maybe Thrust ain't the place for you, maybe they have a backup strategy.
Yes, and you don't have to come to Thrust, but I urge anyone who's interested in taking a big step in their life towards any career or any passion to take that step. I don't care if it's flying, I don't care if it's football, I don't care if it's writing, I don't care if it's I don't know, literally anything, running. Just take that next step if you're someone who's been thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have any other questions for you. I think we've gone just about long enough here. I could probably ask you questions all day.
Oh, good.
I'll ask you one last thing. If someone is just thinking about starting flight training, what would you say to them?
Send it. Go for it.
Simple enough.
Send it. Go for it. Try it. Do it.
Gotcha.
Just take a discovery flight. Get addicted.
And you've heard everything else that Jeremiah has had to say so far. I think there's a lot of good things in there for people who may be. I think there's a lot of good things to take out of this episode. So again, Jeremiah, thank you for joining us on this episode of Pilots Say What, where we get to hear what pilots have to say. If you're still listening, I'm assuming that you're enjoying this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Really helps other people find this podcast, and we appreciate you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode in the following week.